Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead, and this is my first impressions video of Shadow of Mordor. Now, this game kind of took me by surprise. I've only been watching it for about 5, maybe 6 weeks or so. Before that, I had no idea that this project was even in the works. They seem to have kept it under wraps quite well. But I was really excited for it. I was actually so excited that, yes, I did the dreaded pre-order. I did pre-order it, and I waited up all night last night, and it unlocked about 1 a.m. on the 30th, where I'm at, and I was able to put about 5, almost 6 hours into this game non-stop. I mean, I just played non-stop. I did start over a couple of times just to kind of see how things would change, because you know they're really touting this whole Nemesis system. Now, this first impressions video, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be doing any spoilers. I'm not going to do any of the story modes, so I don't spoil the story for you. I'm not going to talk about the story or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about the game and just my initial first impressions. But the biggest thing, the thing that I was most excited about, was this Nemesis system, this idea that, like, every time you start a new game, the world is populated with, you know, with these orcs or Uruks, and some of them, you know, you can have like the lowest level grunt rise up to become the most powerful war chief, and you can have, you know, a really powerful war chief, you know, fall just easily underneath your blade. It's a really interesting system, and it's very dynamic. The other thing that I really thought was very creative about this game is the way they created the enemy orcs. They have this random system that just kind of generates the orcs, and they come up with these goofy little names. And you know, I'm not sure how many combinations, but I mean, it almost seems like there's hundreds of combinations of names and body types and armor types, and you know, scar tissue, burn tissue, hair, you know, armor, accessories, little fetishes on their armor, pieces of bone, weapon. It is incredible the amount of detail that they put in to even just the lowest level, you know, orc. And what's cool about it is, and you'll see it here, there are times when I'm fighting, you know, 20 or 25 orcs, and there may be a captain or elite captain mixed in there, and I lose focus, and I get my health knocked down, and then next thing you know, the lowest level orc, just the lowest grunt, just the, you know, the scum of the earth, even to the orcs, he comes in and he finishes me. You know, he happens to be the lucky guy who gets that last hit. And this part here is just hilarious. This Ushbaka, the drunk, you know, with his belches, and he's got the bottles on his waistband, and he's one of these, you know, kind of tiered captains in Sauron's army. And back to my previous point, you know, the lowest level grunt, he happened to just get this killing blow on me, and then next thing you know, he's a captain. And I played a little bit further, and he ended up getting lucky in a duel, and he ended up becoming a veteran captain, and just this guy who was a nobody, he kept rising through the ranks. And it wasn't until he was an elite captain that I finally ran into him while hunting another captain. He just kind of stumbled onto our battlefield, and I was able to finally get my vengeance on him. So it's kind of cool that you can see these guys. The other thing that's kind of neat is they also remember if you know, flee the battlefield. There's a couple times where I just get in way over my head and I flee the battlefield, and then I met the captain again later on in the game, and he's like, "Oh, you know, are you gonna run away again? Look, it's the coward." There's also times when they kill you, and they remember that, you know, they were the ones who killed, you know, that ranger. They call you the grave walker because you know, they kill you and then you kind of just show up again. And you know, they just kind of make light of it. They're like, "Oh, you know, you've come back for more. I'll put you in your grave again." And they have this great dialogue. So the orcs are just, I mean, they really make this game. I don't even really care that the protagonist, the character model for the protagonist is, I mean, he's very generic. He's a very generic guy, and it's just the work and the amount of effort that they put into this orc society. And there are times when you can just just wander around different parts of Mordor, you know, these larger maps, and just kind of see them in their own little, you know, in their own little habitat. Just kind of see what they're doing, the way they treat the slaves. Sometimes, you know, they'll be by a bush taking a piss. Other times they'll be hunting some of the wildlife, or they'll be running from the wildlife. It's incredible because as soon as these orcs become captains or become leaders in their own right, they develop a set of weaknesses and strengths, and it's absolutely incredible the way they put this orc society together. And here I go. Boom! I get killed by Zugor the Beggar. And then it goes into this little kill screen where he actually rises in power within the orc society, because the other orcs, you know, they look at you, or they look at him, they're like, wow, you know, this guy was able to kill the ranger. And as he's promoted, you know, he gets maybe not better weapons. He kind of sticks with the same weapon, but he gets better armor. You know, maybe some more scars, maybe some things that are just, I mean, just incredible. And this is sort of a closer look at the Nemesis System, the you know, the Sauron's army screen. And remember that this is going to be different every time you play through. It's going to be different for every player. With the story mode, there are a couple. I think there's 1 or 2 orcs that are pivotal to the story mode. And so they might always be there unless you eliminate them early. But the rest of them, they're just randomly generated. All these guys, randomly generated. And I've probably started the game maybe 3 or 4 times in about a 6-hour span just to kind of see it. And I've never seen any of these guys again. They're all different. You might see the same hairdo, or the same armor, or the same set of teeth, or the same you know, the same face mask. I've seen that face mask a couple of times. But you don't really see the same guy over and over and over again, and it's just brilliant the way it was done. Now, I do have there are a couple of gripes. One, the game just seems to be, I don't know, within 30 minutes I was able to take on a pack of 20 or 25 orcs with a veteran captain, you know, thrown in there, and I was able to actually hold my own. I wish that the combat was a little bit more difficult, and this right here is kind of disappointing. The fact that the stealth is just, it's way overpowered. As you can see, I've already killed 3 guys. Nobody knows that their buddies are missing. They're walking in a line, and I'm able to literally sneak up one after the other, after the other, after the other. I tested this again on another playthrough, and I was able to get through 11 orcs. They were all kind of walking in this patrol line, and I went through and I killed 11 orcs. And it was just, I mean, it was absolutely, it's ridiculous. So the combat is a little bit too easy. Granted, I haven't gone through the entire story mode. I'm just kind of doing the open world, you know, the war trials thing, working within the Nemesis system. And stealth is just ridiculously overpowered. In my opinion, it should be a little bit easier. It should be a little bit easier for them to be able to hear you, or maybe even to be able to have some orcs that have an ability to actually not be surprised by stealth. There are some captains that have a strength that they can't be surprised by stealth or ranged attacks, but you know, just your average rank and file orc can easily be taken down with a single strike. What I'm doing here is I'm showing you how easy things can get out of hand. I infiltrated this little stronghold, and I was in the middle of a mission, and I was trying to, you know, work on something within the story. And don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I ended up running into this captain, and I thought it was going to be a stealth kill on a regular grunt orc, but I ended up trying to stealth kill a captain, which means you never really stealth kill him on the first try. I jump down. I get into a skirmish with him. He starts calling all of his buddies. And this is how quickly it just gets, I mean, it just gets out of hand. Excuse me. The next thing I know, I've got 10, 15 orcs who are all coming in to try to fight me. And then when I actually run deeper into the base to try to get into some open areas, because one of the other issues that I had is that when you're in tight, close quarters, your character doesn't really glitch out, but it doesn't move as smoothly. And look at all those red triangles back there. I'm able to kill one captain, but look at all those red triangles. All of his reinforcements completely showed up, and it just gets out of hand quickly, and not in a bad way. This is out of hand in a fun way. I mean, I was just like, holy smokes, you know, what is going on here? And so I'm able to shoot down this fly nest, which distracts them a little bit. But I mean, look at all these orcs. I mean, you know, 15, 20, 25, 30 orcs, and then in the middle of it, I run into another captain. Absolutely, just incredible the way these creatures are randomized, and just the way things can just get out of hand. Now, the combat in this is very similar to, I'm not going to say it's similar to Assassin's Creed, but it will remind you of Assassin's Creed, and it's really close to Batman, the latest Batman title. It's very similar to that, where you have these groups of bad guys, and you kind of face them, and you always seem a little bit overpowered. You can be killed, but you always seem a little bit overpowered, and you literally are this one-man army. And like I said, it took me almost no time at all to master these. You know, it's really just watch for the symbols, watch for the block symbol, swing and attack. I'm doing all of the camera movements right there, so that's really all me moving it. But other than that, my first impressions of this title are very, very positive. I cannot wait to dig deeper. I cannot wait to dig deeper into the Nemesis system. My name's Dead Winter Dead. Look at all those orcs. Thanks for watching.